Coming up on City Spotlight, it's the next to last episode in the series of City Spotlight. In this episode, we'll feature two communities, Mattoon and Charleston. We'll sit down with city leaders from Mattoon and Charleston, Mattoon Mayor Rick Hall, Mattoon City Manager Kyle Gill, Charleston Mayor Dr. Brandon Combs, and Charleston City Manager Steve Pamperin about the latest public works and economic development in the communities of Mattoon and Charleston. And we'll wrap up our interviews with the respective leaders of Mattoon and Charleston, reflecting on the past decade and a look ahead to what's next in the communities of Mattoon and Charleston. It's one final episode talking the communities of Mattoon and Charleston here on City Spotlight. City Spotlight on WEIU-TV is underwritten by the Illinois Arts Council, a state agency. And welcome to another edition of City Spotlight as we tape here at the cusp of spring 2026. We're taping here on March 19th. This will be a combo episode with our communities of Mattoon and Charleston as we near the end of our series here on City Spotlight. And we are starting off the episode back at a familiar spot, Mattoon City Hall. And to help me out, two gentlemen to my left. First of all, we welcome back to the program Mattoon City Manager Kyle Gill. Kyle, great to see you.
Great to see you.
And Mattoon Mayor Rick Hall. Rick,
yes,
it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Great to have you guys both back on here one final time here on City Spotlight. Always a treat to come talk to you guys and talk about Mattoon. All the times we've had Mattoon on. Mattoon was our very first episode here on City Spotlight back in 2015. And I want to start off, first of all, we last taped with these gentlemen in the middle of 2024, so long overdue. And Kyle, since the last time we taped, as I just mentioned, he is now Mattoon City Manager. So talk about the change from administrator to city manager. What does that mean for you individually and for the city?
So basically, that went to the voters. The citizens voted to go with the manager form of government, which really just does change some of the form of government where the commissioners are and mayor are more policy makers, and then it is a transformation of me being over the day-to-day operations. So the city manager has the operations of the day-to-day and makes those decisions.
And that change officially happened May of last year.
Correct.
Any comment, Mayor, on the change from administrator to city
Yes.
manager?
We've been doing this about a year at this point,
Right.
and we're going through a little bit of a transition, getting used to how we do more strategic planning from the council and budget approval, more long-term in nature and not so much day-to-day. And we think that's going to work a lot better.
All right. Thank you very much for that important change there. I wanted to make sure we clarify that for our audience at home. And let's dive right in here. Our first part of our interview, we'll talk about things going on in Mattoon right now and maybe going forward. And in our last part of our interview, a little reflection on all the things that have transpired while we've taped this program. So let's start off, obviously the big one. We've talked about this now for a handful of years because it is the biggest, newest thing in Mattoon, still Emerald Acres. And now the transition of the fields, outdoor fields being built. And we're on the cusp of the interstate changes. So let's dive into both, whichever one you want to talk about first.
Again, the outdoor fields, I'll jump in and say the outdoor fields are under construction now.
Yeah.
If hopefully we'll have good weather this spring that we'll get tournaments going as soon as maybe June this year.
Okay. And that addition will basically complete the Emerald Acres project.
Correct. There's two fields that are going to be maybe put in at a later date, but the rest of the fields will be constructed this summer, and hopefully they're open before summer.
And with every cause or every cause, there's an effect. I think I'm switching those words around. But the interstate project is also I guess you could say, part of the Emerald Acres grand thing. So what's the latest on that?
If you're talking about the I-57 Route 16 interchange, that change, it's been delayed to some extent. Construction may get started yet this year, but it's still a 3-year construction period. There'll be a lot of activity and of course a lot of traffic that's kind of going on. At Emerald Acres, you probably know there are 2 new hotels that are going to be completed very, very soon, and a third one is in the making right now. That will increase our hotels from 8, what we used to have, to 11 hotels. That's a big increase, over a third. And if you go back a couple of years, we've actually almost had a 50% growth in hotels in Mattoon.
So and all started with the Hilton Garden Inn.
Exactly. So those are key to be able to have the number of people that are going to be staying here. This weekend, just as an example, we are hosting a state gymnastic tournament, statewide tournament. And we will have about 3,600 tourists that come in and about 500 athletes, somewhere around that number. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Inquiring minds want to know, including myself, what's going to happen to the Big Lots building since Big Lots has since left. I was personally sad. I talked about before the recording. Came to Mattoon when I was a little kid. Still in recent years come over to the Big Lots, but Big Lots has left. Can you say what's going to go in there moving forward?
So, we haven't had any official word, but the Journal Gazette, I think, had it on last night on Facebook that an Ollie's is coming into that. They purchased that building. So, again, that is a trend that we've seen in other cities that Big Lots has left, Ollie's has come in. So
they're not too much different.
No, and it's a very similar type of store. So I think people in Mattoon will be happy.
I think everybody in the area that will want to flock to Mattoon to visit an Ollie's, because they're kind of a fun store to go to. All right. Any other economic development you can speak of safely here that you can openly talk about here in 2026, or maybe recent stuff from the end of last year that you're worth mentioning?
So we do have some other new developments that are coming into the northwest intersection of Lerner Road and Route 16 that we think will develop this year. We're having some new roads, a right-in, right-out, that would be just west of Walmart, and then wrap around to the Swords Drive that goes in front of the sports complex. Some widening of Detro, so that's going to open up more land for development as well. And then we are talking to other developers even north of Route 16 on possible developments. So there's just a lot of interaction going on with developers and investigating, and we think the area is primed for development.
Excellent. And as I was driving in this morning, saw some nice new stoplights along Route 16, Charleston Avenue.
Yeah, Charleston Avenue, of course, it's been under construction a little bit last year, but the surfacing will be going down right away. So all new stoplights, overhead lights, asphalt, new covering from Lakeland Boulevard all the way out almost to the sports complex. That's been long overdue. We're going to have resurfacing of Broadway, a big section of Broadway, and that's needed to sort of finalize what's going on there. And we clearly have some industrial projects going. GE, the plant, we've got people that are going to totally occupy that. That's going to be open soon. There's a growth plan in that direction. Swords Drive, north all the way to DeWitt, is probably be started this next year or a little bit after. The future definitely looks very bright for us, and a lot of activity.
Yeah, a lot of activity, not dull, as I like to say. Alex Benishek with the City of Mattoon has been on WEIU recently, and I want to ask you guys about a couple of things that he's talked about. In recent times, he's appeared on our radio and TV programs, new housing and a new bike path. I mean, whichever one you want to talk about first.
Yeah, so definitely on the housing side of things, we are working on different things. We've got a TIF district that we just had a public hearing on this past Tuesday night, and we're hoping to develop some more commercial, or not commercial, but residential subdivisions, because as the commercial grows, we need more housing for the employees that are working out there. And then a normal housing, and then we're also looking at an area for some executive housing for more of the school teachers and some of the management of some of the other businesses here in town. So we want to try to keep our employees here in Mattoon, grow Mattoon. The bike trail, again, just extensions. We're constantly looking at different things. There's a group that is looking at maybe extending it west to other cities like Shelbyville and along the way, maybe even to Taylorville. So there's this coalition that's working together that, hey, can we make all our bike trails connect and bring more people to the area?
I have seen the work in other communities with the bike trails. It is the thing of the moment right now.
Yes.
All right, in the last couple of minutes, gentlemen, I wish I could talk a little bit longer, but we do have another community to feature in this episode, and I want to give the opportunity to talk about the things that have been accomplished in the city of Mattoon in our last few minutes that we've covered on this program over the last decade, dating back to even Tim Gover's time. Obviously, you had the Marshall Avenue work, which I think it was 3 years straight, because that was a long project. You had to segment it out. Obviously, the new hotel, the Hilton Garden Inn, new public works building, and of course, we've talked about Emerald Acres here every time. So my last question, I'll leave it open to you, whichever direction you want to talk about. Reflection on the last 10 years of Mattoon and the next 10 years in Mattoon. So one of you want to talk about, recap some of the last 10 years and the things you've accomplished and the future.
So like I said, I think we've put a lot of investment in our infrastructure, fixing up Marshall Avenue, new public works building, like you'd said, and we're trying to focus more on our infrastructure to grow Mattoon. I think we've been very successful, and I think this is just the start of it.
Yeah, lots going on. Obviously, we talked about the streetlights today too.
Yeah. Needless to say, the future looks very bright for Mattoon right now. We're much more strategic, I think, in the direction that we're going, and it looks very very good for Mattoon and Charleston, the whole county area going forward. We are not running out of things to do, and we've got a lot of things in the works. I think people are going to see as much, if not more, than what we've done in the last few years.
Well, I really appreciate your guys' time. You guys are community leaders, city leaders. Your time is precious as we talk about all these things, past and present and future in this community, dating back to even Tim Gover's time. I thank you guys for sitting down all these times and sharing what's going on in this great community of Mattoon here on the west side of Coles County. And it's been an honor taping with you guys, and best of luck to the city of Mattoon moving forward.
Thank you. We've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And coming up next here on City Spotlight, we'll go to the east side of Coles County and find out what's going on in the city of Charleston. We thank Rick and Kyle for being on. Appreciate it, gentlemen. And coming up next, we'll talk City of Charleston. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in the communities of Mattoon and Charleston. And we're back here on City Spotlight, this latest season 12 episode. We're featuring two communities in this episode, both Coles County communities. We've traveled west from Mattoon, back over east to Charleston. We're taping back at Charleston City Hall on March 27th. A little bit different looking room here at City Hall, but nonetheless glad to be inside on this cold day. And we welcome back to the program familiar guests, Mayor of Charleston, Dr. Brandon Combs.
Ramin, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Good morning, sir. Glad to see you. And Steve Pamperin, Charleston City Manager. Steve, always a treat.
Ramin, great to see you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good to have you guys back in the chairs here, taping here on City Spotlight. Taped with them just under a year ago. We had Scott Smith up in the council chambers. It was a three-person interview, Scott's final time on the program as he was transitioning kind of out of the city manager position. So, Steve, about a year later, you got that title. So, how's it all going for you?
It's going great. It's going very well. Obviously, still transitioning. Scott hasn't been gone that long. Scott did so many amazing things for this city over his 20 plus years as city manager. But the great thing here at the city, we have great directors, we have great folks that work here, and collectively together we're moving the ship forward. So everything is going well. Lots of great projects that are happening. Obviously, everybody still misses Scott, but we're moving forward. So
okay, thank you very much for that. And we will start before we talk about Economic development, it is end of March, so it's officially spring when we tape the beginning part of this episode. With Mattoon, it was the end of winter, so the seasons are changing. We know that by the crazy weather we've had here to end March. And let's talk about public works, because you're getting to those warm weather months, and that means your crews are really going to be ramping it up. This morning, I saw some work there on Madison Avenue near Jefferson Elementary. What's going on there?
We have a lot of, I tell you what, so on Madison Avenue, this last summer we resurfaced Madison Avenue.
Yes.
And as part of that, we wanted to also do some sidewalk improvements. So we have come in here at the end and we're working on ADA sidewalk ramps along Madison Avenue, which is going to take several weeks to get done. But we have a contractor in doing that work, doing a great job, and actually started really with the heavy construction yesterday. So it followed a resurfacing project. As far as capital works projects, we have a lot of capital stuff that's hopefully going to be happening this summer. Hopefully we can list those out, but we have a very large, what we call our top 10 road resurfacing project.
Right.
What we'll be doing is we have select parts of town that we're going to be doing, working with IDOT grant money to resurface several roads in town. Some of those include University, Harrison, 4th and 5th. So there's sections of each of those roads that we're going to be working on probably the early part of the spring.
Wow.
As we get into the later part of the spring,
Right.
we're going to hopefully be starting our pickleball project out at Linder Sports Complex.
Great.
We have a bid opening coming here in a couple weeks to do that project. So
Wonderful.
just to give you a couple examples of those, out at the wastewater treatment plant, we're finishing up a huge capital project out there, $8 to $9 million project that we're hopefully wrapping up. So several projects that are going to be happening this year. One more thing is we did get some grant funding to build a new road extension out at the Coles Business Park. So that will be a project to support a local business or a business relocation to Charleston, and we hope to get the engineering going this year
When you
with
say
the.
Coles Business Park, that's where which one?
So the Coles Business Park is over by the hospital.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's over by the hospital. So
Almost forgot what the title of that
yes,
area was.
yeah. So we have a road extension we're going to put out there to support a relocation of a business. So in a nutshell, there's many capital projects that we'll be looking at doing this year. Lots going on.
And to reflect, I guess, Brandon, you have, in addition, by the way, congratulations on Reynolds. That drives really smoothly now.
Yes, on Douglas.
Douglas.
Yes,
Excuse me.
yes.
Douglas, my bad. I wrote the wrong street down.
Yeah, you're right.
I dropped my kid off.
But
You're going down Reynolds a lot when you drive.
Yes.
But at the end of Reynolds there on Lovers Lane, we did do a lot of improvements there, resurfacing, new lighting. So that was wonderful last year.
And also talk about your new street signs.
Yeah.
City signs coming into town off 16 and 130.
Yeah.
Very noticeable.
Yeah, very noticeable. I mean, they look great. We've needed them 20 years, 20.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you drive in, you're coming from the west and you come in, you can see the nice big lit sign there. I mean, it's like I said, it's been needed updated for a long time.
I was driving my 6th grader to Scouts, or my 3rd grader to Scouts the other night at Lake Charleston, and I saw the sign there on 130.
And then there's the new one there, and it's nice, and it fits the theme with everything else that we have going on, and the buildings that we have at the lake and the buildings we have at Linder and everything like that. So it was a collaborative effort between the city and Charleston Can, and then Charleston Charitable helped us out.
I had those organizations to make those possible.
Most
You mentioned
definitely.
Linder Sports Complex. Obviously, it's still, I would consider, young.
Yes.
So you mentioned you're going to continue to add on to that area.
Yeah, so we're this year we're hoping to start our pickleball facility project out there. It's going to be 8 new pickleball courts along with a new parking lot. And this will be our plan is to make that tournament quality, tournament level kind of facility that we can bring in tournaments and bring in folks to actually come to the city and play pickleball, in addition to our local pickleball clubs and everything going on. So it's a big project. We have a bid opening here in a couple weeks, and we're hoping to have construction done by the end of the year for that brand new facility. One more piece out at Linder Sports Complex.
Wonderful. Looks great. It's getting used a lot.
Yes.
All right, let's shift over to economic development, follow up on some things that we talked about just under a year ago, and maybe a few new things that have popped up. Nice looking facade work there, Lincoln Avenue, the strip shop area. Ike Siam Thai looks really good. Spaces look a little empty, or are things going to be going in there?
Yes. I talked to Joe, who's done all that quite regularly. And I know some of the things that are going in there. It's his strip center. He's put in all the money. I'm not going to spoil it. There's a lot of rumors out there, and yes, some of them are true, but I'm not going to steal Joe's thunder when it comes to being able to
really
announce.
nice.
It looks very nice. It's been needed to be done for a long time. So it's much needed improvement.
Of the newer businesses in Charleston that I noticed, I would say it's safe to say that 7 Brew is a hit because it is packed every day.
Yes, it is. It is.
People need their drinks.
Yes, obviously so.
And I didn't mention this in the Mattoon part of our episode, but obviously there was a changeover, Lambeau's to Casey's, so that's very noticeable. Just renovated, and all of a sudden it got a small renovation again to Casey's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay.
And Mike did a great job, with that
he
build,
did.
and we're happy with all it. And to Brandon's point there, we have a lot of, it's kind of carrying over from the last couple of years of a lot of great stuff happening in the city, along Lincoln Avenue, along 18th Street, Lifetime Eye Care and some others that are happening. So we have many other projects in the hopper coming as well.
This is my probably final time asking you a few questions, so I'm going to poke the bear one last time on this topic. We talked about this last spring. What's the latest you can tell us about the old Walmart building?
We are still working with the owner of the old Walmart building. Actually, we just talked to him not 30 days ago, and he had to do some value engineering, had to revise some plans. I think he's still very much interested in redeveloping that area.
Great.
So we're constantly communicating with him. Hopefully that will happen.
All right,
Fingers crossed for me.
Yes.
Folks at home, there you go. There's the latest for you here on City Spotlight on that location that I think is just an annual, maybe monthly water cooler talk. In every community's got one of those spots, like what's going to be next.
Yes.
All right, in our final minutes here with Brandon and Steve, this will be our final time taping with them here on City Spotlight as we are closing up the program here in early May. Just want to get your perspective of doing this program the last decade, 11 years to be exact. The new things, accomplishments, and maybe what's next, the next 10 years of Charleston. So Steve, I'll start with you. Obviously, we've taped, not just on this program, all of us were involved in that Lake Charleston project. You guys got me in there at the end there with the video part, and hey, we all worked together. I'm glad it did what it did, and that was an amazing accomplishment. The building of the new Linder Sports Complex in recent years in Charleston. Steve, give us some highlights, just thinking back real quick, some of the great accomplishments in this community over the last decade.
Well, I'm going to repeat, kind of what you said, and what's really great is to see that growth and see those development projects here in town. And I know we don't have a lot of time, but you've hit them. Lake Charleston is amazing, and what a great family atmosphere to bring Eastern students and the community and everybody kind of getting together at the same location to walk or enjoy that space. But also just overall the growth of the city over the last 10, 20 years. It's continued with positive momentum. Whether it's on Lincoln Avenue with economic development or all the infrastructure projects or the stuff at the lake, the outdoor recreations offerings that this city has. Just very, very proud of it. But also, and I know you'll get to this question too, but just thankful to you. The City Spotlight, this whole series allows folks at home to kind of see what's going on, kind of hear about what's going on, in the different communities, and really appreciate you shining a light on all the things we're doing, because a lot of times we don't have that sort of megaphone. So thank you for everything that you've done for the program.
And although we'll be turning off the cameras on this program, you can kind of look back and see the transformation in all these communities that we've had, especially the ones at the very beginning, a decade worth of different things. You can see the growth.
Yes,
most definitely.
Thank you very much for those comments, Steve. Brandon, I leave you with the final question I'll ask here on this program. Can't believe all the times we've taped here. I remember the first time that we taped back in the WEIU TV studios. You were, I think, the official title was Mayor Pro Temp at the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, after Larry Reynolds passed away, I interviewed Larry Reynolds, former Charleston mayor, the second ever City Spotlight back in early 2015. So, Brandon, Steve just reflected on the past decade in Charleston. I want to give you this loaded question. What's the next 10 years of Charleston going to look like?
Well, I want to see it to continue to grow how it has been. I mean, the time that I've sat in the mayor seat, been on council since 2013, mayor since 2015. If you just drive up and down, Lincoln and you see the changes, but then you go out south and you see Linder, and then you see the lake. And I remember sitting in this very room here when we were still looking at plans for the lake, what we wanted to do, and we had no idea. I mean, there had been no clearing, there had been nothing. But then you look and you see all the things that have been done. I mean, I want to see that momentum continue. because, and then coming out of COVID, we didn't know what it was going to look like. Yeah. And then once again, you look at all the places, you talk about the old Walmart. Well, I think of where MacArthur's Cycle was, and then it was C&D Triple Play, and the old sports store there, you know, and then it sat empty for 20-some years, and now look, we got that beautiful Huck's. So there's a lot of moving parts, and there's still a lot of interest in this community and being here in Charleston, and so we want to keep that momentum going. I mean, you know, for us as we get a little bit older, our kids, and one day our grandkids, right? You know, it's hard to. We're getting up there, bud. So I mean,
right there around the corner.
Those are the things that we got to start thinking about, and I want to, you know, for me sitting in here, it's one of those things that one day when I'm riding down Lincoln or whatever else with, you know, I want to continue, or I want the community to continue to grow and thrive, and be able to look back and say, well, I can remember when, you know, this was that, but now look what's going on. So just to see it continue to grow and just be a beautiful place to live, go to school, and raise your family, you know.
Couldn't ask for a better comment. That's not scripted. That's a real comment.
That's from the heart.
Very good. Thank you very much, Brandon Combs, Steve Pamperin, gentlemen, and also like to thank all the time Scott Smith was on the program. You gentlemen have given us your time and insights on this community, and we thank your time on this program.
Well, Ramin, thank you so much too. Steve said it earlier, but it really means a lot. You put a lot of time and effort into all of these, and it definitely doesn't go unnoticed, and I always look forward to the edits that you send us to so that we can see it, and I'll always be able to look back at these times very fondly.
Well, before we hit record, I have one more to send you, so there you go.
Okay,
so look forward to sending you the finished product.
Yes.
And this will do it for our final City Spotlight episode, regular interview style, as we featured the communities of Mattoon and Charleston. This is our last regular interview style episode, and we will close the program on May 6th at 7 o'clock for a 1-hour series finale highlighting some of our great moments with our features here on this program. Thank you for watching City Spotlight. 30 communities and 11 plus seasons of covering Central and Southeastern Illinois on City Spotlight on WEIU. Our journey is coming to a close. We will have a special 1-hour series finale highlighting some of our favorite moments from the features we have done here on City Spotlight. Don't miss the 1-hour series finale of City Spotlight, the final Spotlight, episode 261, May 6th at 7 p.m. on WEIU TV. City Spotlight on WEIU TV is underwritten by the Illinois Arts Council, a state agency